Good evening and welcome to night number 1 of the Dusty Classic. And who better to start our show off than the Rhodes brothers themselves, Dustin and Cody Rhodes. The first tag team entered into this Dusty Classic. 128 tag teams will enter, but only one will become our first ever SWE Tag Team Champions of the World. So this is going to be a very interesting tournament, very long-winded tournament as well. We're going to be doing 2 matches per episode, so it's going to be shorter than our normal stuff, just so I can squeeze it in without giving myself too much extra work to do. So it is going to last probably 2.5 months, so it's going to go for a long time, but hopefully by the end it will be worth it. So the Rhodes brothers in round number 1 will be taking on the team of Epico and Primo. They are the Clones, or what are they actually called in these games? Is it called the Clones on this game? They are, okay. There we go, the Clones. So, should be a very interesting opening match. Also, the second match in this episode will be the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver going up against the Ascension, Connor and Victor. Those are the 2 matches for today's Dusty Classics. Without further ado, let's get straight into our opening match, and let's see how this works out. How much would the Rhodes, Dustin and Cody love to win the Tag Team Championships in the tournament named after their late great father? That would be an absolute ideal for them. But of course it's the Clones who stand in their way here this evening. And they might have got a bit of an easy draw if you look at it that way. I mean, there's much harder tag teams they could have picked up in this tournament, but I feel like they'll be happy with their first round draw. And this is going to work out as a massive bracket. There will be a link to the brackets in the description down below, so check that one out. We've got 128 teams, like I said, in round number 1, and then moving forward we will get them down to 64 teams, then 32, then 16, then 8, and then, of course, 4, 2, and then 1. What is that then? So, 128 teams, 64 teams, 32 teams, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So there are 7 rounds. No, 8 rounds. There are 8 rounds. We're going to do the tournament like this, and then the last, maybe, when we get down to the last 4 teams, we'll probably do a pay-per-view for it, maybe. Or maybe even the last 8 teams, we'll do a proper Dusty Classic style pay-per-view for a weekend. That'd be a nice little change. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the entire tournament. It's been too long, really. I mean, we are now into the 3rd month of the year. We're into March. We've been doing this since the beginning of January, and we did not have Tag Team Champions crowned yet. And I couldn't think of a better way of doing it than really just getting some of the best tag teams we put, well, every tag team I could possibly think of in the list. Now, hopefully, I mean, there probably will be some that I may have missed, but hopefully we've got everyone's favourite tag teams. There are some teams which we won't see because some of the wrestlers are going to be in other teams already, I think. So, for example, what's a good example? What is a good example? I think somebody said Rated RKO as an example. Edge and Randy Orton. However, that team won't be in this because Edge is going to be part of Edge and Christian tag team. But I think I might do Randy Orton and Batista as an Evolution tag team, maybe. That's going to be an interesting one. So nobody will be in this tournament in more than 1 team, essentially. The Clones here are actually doing a much better job than I expected, although, as I say, that Dustin catches one of them into the backbreaker is now Cody with the other. Dustin up. There's the final cut. There's the final cut by Dustin Rhodes. The disaster kick by Cody. And that should be enough to put them through to round 2. It is indeed. The Rhodeses are victorious here in the first match of our Dusty Classic. The first match of the ongoingly long, massively tournament thing. That's the exact way I'm going to pronounce it. And there we go, the Rhodes with the opening victory. That's going to obviously give them ranking points. There will be ranking points available throughout this entire tournament as well. So it's going to give a big opportunity for some of these people to lift themselves up the rankings. And, of course, we're going to see a lot of new people added to the rankings as well. But great victory there then for the Rhodes. They move on to round number 2. And it'll be interesting to see who they're going to face off against, as we'll find out in our next match coming up, which, of course, will be the Dark Order versus the Ascension. So without further ado, let's move on. And here we go then, match number 2. We have got, of course, the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver going up against the Ascension. So first of all, a team that have really developed really well over the last year or so. I mean, they were sort of underrated. I was a big fan. I knew about these guys before they came into AEW. Seen them in PWG and Combat Zone Wrestling. I think they were the Beaver Boys, and they were a fantastic tag team. So seeing them come into AEW was fantastic. I was very happy about that. And it's themselves, really. I mean, the actual charisma and personality of these two, especially on being the Elite and now being the Dark Order and that sort of stuff as well, has really helped the two of them sort of catch the imagination of the fans and allow them to step up to a higher place in the rankings and or in the roster as well, up in the card. And I think it's been really good for them. And that's the thing that I like about AEW. They're really giving a lot of these different people an opportunity to showcase themselves rather than controlling the way they act in front of the camera. They allow them the opportunity to sort of showcase themselves and obviously be in control of their own destination, I suppose, if you look at it that way. And their opponents then, the Ascension, a tag team that I must say I quite liked. I was a fan of the Ascension. I quite liked the dark humour of the Ascension. Not the humour, sorry. The dark sort of aspect of the Ascension. I feel like they could have been a very effective, good tag team. But Vince doesn't seem to like tag teams, does he? I don't know what it is with him. He just doesn't seem to like tag teams at all. And I like these guys. I think they are wrestling a bit of the independent scene at the moment. But who knows? We could see them elsewhere at some point in the future. I like them. I think as part of maybe as a stable underneath somebody would be pretty interesting. Someone a bit more dark and twisted as well. I always had them in previous years as part of the new ministry led by The Undertaker. That was pretty fun. But here we go then, the Dark Order versus the Ascension in a second match of our Dusty Classic. I lost my breath there for a second. So the winner of this one will obviously get the Rhodes in the second round of this tournament, which is a long way away. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The second round of the tournament is a very long way away because of the amount of matches we will be doing, but it's going to be fun nonetheless. We might even see the Dark Order a little bit later on this week. Of course, we are going to have an AEW special because it is Revolution this weekend, so we'll see a bit of AEW stuff coming up in the SWE, so keep an eye out for that this weekend as well. And now Connor in control of Alex Reynolds, while John Silver taking down Victor. It's John Silver, the one who's really built himself up. But I think also number 10, has really built himself up as well, Preston Vance. He really has built himself up a lot, considering that he's really come from nothing over the last year or so, had some bad injuries. But yeah, it's good to see him doing well. Victor now taking down the backbreaker. As by the way, these matches are Extreme Rules. I don't know why, but yeah, it was a weird one. It seems like I couldn't have normal. It wouldn't let me have normal tornado matches. So the way to do it was to have Extreme Rules matches. So yeah. There will be no disqualification matches, these ones. As Victor showcased that with slamming the chair across the back of John Silver. This could actually be an advantage for some tag teams, being able to utilize the environment and utilize weaponry. We will see maybe some ECW teams in here as well. The Gangsters, Public Enemy, the Eliminators, RVD and Sabu, just to name a few. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward to seeing just how many of these teams we get that actually get a better stead in this competition because they are allowed to use weapons. It's more in their wheelhouse, wheelhouse. It's one of the two, isn't it? Roadhouse. John Silver now fighting against Victor in the middle of the ring, takes him up on the shoulders into Wow. Well, he took him into almost like a torture rack, then just span it into a power bomb. Silva now backing away into the corner. And a big punt kick across the face of Victor. But Connor is back in the ring to break it up. I think Reynolds and Silva actually doing pretty well in the tag team rankings at the moment, aren't they? I believe they might be joint top, are they? Oh, well, they are. No, yes, they are joint top, but to be honest, that means nothing because there's loads of teams on just one ranking point. What? Well, hang on a minute. I was just looking at the rankings. What just happened? Somebody won while I was looking at the rankings. What just happened? Who won the match? Who won the match? Who won the match? I wasn't better. No. Really? It was. The Ascension have just done it, haven't they? Oh, my word. Oh, my word. The Ascension have just pulled out a massive victory. It wasn't the best finish of a match we've ever had in this, but as I've said in the past, I will never, unless it's a crash or a bug, I will never restart a match. I will let the game decide who wins. And in this case, the game is decided that the Ascension will eliminate possibly one of the cult favourites in this competition. And that is John Silva and Alex Reynolds. That's a real shame. I really want to see Silva and Reynolds do well, but the Ascension move on to the second round to face off against the Rhodes. Well, that is night number 1 of the Dusty Classic complete. We'll be back tomorrow for night number 2, where we will see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going up against Heavy Machinery, and we will see TM61 going up against Future Shock, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly. So good night, God bless. Alvida saying love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow for night 2. Wow, what a shock that was.